Hello from Cadiz, a very historic town in Europe. It's the oldest city in Europe. It dates back some 3,000 years. And behind me, just here, where I can get my finger there, just here, you'll see some battlements. And they have a very interesting story to tell, because just a few miles down the road, just south from here, there is a town still within the province of Cadiz, and it's called Trafalgar. And I'm sure we've all heard of the name Trafalgar. It's where there was a famous battle there in 1805 and Nelson lost his life, although the British did win. Well, some 200 years ago, these battlements here, the Battle of Trafalgar, were firing on the British Navy, because the British Navy had to come down the Atlantic here, and these battlements were firing with the cannons onto the British fleet. What's interesting though is just 7 years later the British were helping the Spanish oust Napoleon. Trafalgar was a Napoleonic war, but it was the Spanish fleets and the French fleets fighting against the British Navy. Well, just 7 years later, the British were helping the Spanish, to oust the French, and they successfully managed this. And in 1812, the first constitution of Spain, which was modelled on the British Magna Carta, was signed here in Cadiz, and there were British representatives there supporting the Spanish government. So it's just amazing, just 7 years after these battlements were firing on the Royal Navy, on Nelson's fleet, just 7 years later they were sitting down at a table and writing the first Spanish constitution in this town, the same town. So this place, Andalusia, not just Cadiz, not just Seville, Cordoba, where I went before, this place is such a hotbed of history. It's teeming with history that stretches back thousands of years. It's an amazing place. I encourage everyone to come here, and I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn, like I mentioned in my video from Cadiz. I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from Andalusia, and how the cultures that have lived here for centuries peacefully coexisted. But anyway, that's enough for now. I don't have a panorama to show you today because I haven't been in anywhere. We've just been walking through the old town. But I am going to do my review, hopefully in Seville when I get home, when I get back to the hotel. But it may be when I get home, because I'm going to pack tonight, we're leaving tomorrow, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have. But either way, you're going to see now my review on the Gareth and Hogarth's Kendal, well, it's the Kendal Gold Pure Virginia. So goodbye from Cadiz. Well, hello, this is the last video I'm going to be making from Seville, as we're going home very soon, and I thought I'd end where I began, which is right next to this structure here. It's called the Metropole Parasol, but locals usually refer to it as Leseta because it reminds them of the shape of mushrooms. It's all built of wood, and they say it's the largest wooden structure in the world. But I don't know about that. I've been to Nara in Japan, close to Kyoto, and there's a World Heritage Site temple there, which is sort of officially called the world's largest wooden building. And I've been there, and it's bigger than this. It houses a huge, great statue of the Buddha. It's massive. So I don't know where they get this idea that this is the largest wooden structure on Earth, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be catching a taxi soon. We're going to the airport. Our flight's at 1 o'clock, or just after. So it's about 8 o'clock now in Seville, and 10 o'clock our taxi comes. So I'm going to keep this as just a brief review of the Kendal Gold Virginia. Now, this is a really nice e-liquid. If you like your Virginias, if you get Drake Virginia, or you're familiar with the Blue Note Virginias, this is very similar. It's different, of course, because it's a different Virginia blend, but it's certainly, you know, it says what it is what it says on the tin. It's just a straight Virginia. It's probably the least complex flavour of all three. And there's nothing really much more to say about it. It's a Virginia. It's a 5% concentrate, as are all of them. I'm happy with this. The only one I think I'll change is the Peterson's Balkan Delight. I think I might try that at 10%, and just see if it gives a bigger sort of more. Because of that Latakia, it has like a big, round, bold flavour. And I'm just thinking upping it to about 10% may just improve it. But the other two, the Cherry Cavendish and this Virginia, I'm perfectly happy at 5%. And that's another great thing about this method, is that you can tailor make the final mix to your taste buds. So I've really enjoyed myself in Seville. I hope you've enjoyed my little brief, you know, showing you the city. I'm definitely going to come back, and I would recommend anyone comes here. Ryanair do regular flights, so yeah, go on a plane and check out Seville. One thing to bear in mind though is the heat. So it's not been too bad this year. In fact, the civilians say it's pretty cool. It's been like 37. Normally it's 40 to 45 degrees. So it's a stifling heat, and even the civilians say, you know, it's too hot. In fact, there's a town close by which they call the frying pan of Europe, and there in summer it gets between 50 and 55, so that's even hotter. But yeah, definitely give it a go. Seville's fantastic, and give this a go too. DIY e-liquid. The method works. It's a great method, saves you money. And as I said, you can start to tailor make your flavour intensities to suit your taste buds. So that's it. That's my holiday finished. I hope we have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video, which will be from probably cold, rainy Blackburn. Bye bye for now.